All right, Laura Ingraham, it's time for the kids to go back to school, and they're already in special, well-to-do Democratic areas saying they're not going to go back to school as normal. Here goes. 2 days a week, only school. Or they can go with it online.
Especially mothers, are really anxious about what the fall will bring for their children and themselves. As moms who work outside the home are beginning to head back into the office, they need to know that their sons and daughters will be heading back to school Monday through Friday, like they did in the PC era, pre-COVID. Yet just yesterday in Fairfax County, Virginia, one of the most affluent and populous suburbs of Washington, D.C., the Democrat-controlled school district made the shocking announcement that it's not going to be fully reopening in the fall. Instead, families are given two options: enrolling their kids in 100% online classes 4 days per week.
Online classes 4 days a week. Or get this, 2 days of school.
Or in-person classes for just 2 days a week. Now, with the latter option, kids will have to remain 6 feet apart at all times, daily health screenings, and regular hand washing and sanitizing. Now, it's similar to a plan being put forward by the neighboring Loudoun County, Virginia, another wealthy county controlled by Democrats. We have a lot of those in the D.C. area. I wonder why. Now, that was just a few days ago. Now, parents in both counties are rightfully outraged. One parent telling a local ABC station, "I also have seen the repercussions at home where they were distancing. I saw depression. I saw them lose interest in life. And I can't sit by and watch that happen again." Well, she's right. We can't let this happen again.
So they have to stand up and act now because school's coming. 4th of July's here. Walmart's going to start putting out school supplies. This is ridiculous.
We know the heavy toll this is taking on children's mental health.
The vast majority of children are at very, very low risk of any serious consequences of this disease. Keeping kids out of school is causing enormous harm to them. We know from studies now out of China that depression rates in kids who've been locked down are up 20 to 30%. We know that children from low-income families in particular who are being homeschooled, if we're waiting for children to be immunized before they go back to school, we could be looking at 2, 3, 4 years. That's an eternity.
Now, of course, living in this area, we're used to mistakes by left-wing, out-of-touch elites who don't fully appreciate the real-world consequences of their actions. But it would be terrible, a terrible shame, if these two counties set an example for the rest of America. Now, I'm sure the folks in Fairfax County will claim they're only doing these extreme measures because of the virus, for public health. But that's just absurd. There is no science that supports keeping kids, especially those in the younger grades, away from the classroom. NPR reported yesterday that throughout the pandemic, both the YMCA and the New York City Education Department kept child care centers open for the children of frontline workers. They collectively took care of tens of thousands of kids for months. So guess how many COVID outbreaks were linked to their staying open? 0. Furthermore, a survey by Brown University economist Emily Oster found that just 0.16% of the 20,000 children at 916 care centers across the country were COVID positive. 0.16. The evidence for reopening our schools is overwhelming. Elliot Haspel, an education policy expert with the Robbins Foundation, saying there are almost no recorded cases of child-to-adult transmission of COVID-19. It's not a zero risk, but we're acting with a March 2020 understanding of COVID-19 and kids not with a June 2020 understanding of COVID-19 in kids. Democrats usually love citing Europe's approach to things, right? So let's see how the Europeans are handling this decision. Well, European countries that had far higher COVID death rates than we did, such as France and Belgium, have already sent students back to school. Italy and Spain are reopening schools in September. And of course, Sweden never closed its lower schools at all. no significant outbreaks in these countries have been reported due to school attendance. Now, unfortunately, Fairfax County isn't listening. The student body in Fairfax happens to be one of the most diverse in America. Nearly 26% Hispanic, 8% African American, 23% Asian, and 38% white. Thousands of these parents are essential workers. Others live paycheck to paycheck. There are others who are really wealthy, of course. But what are the people who are less advantaged supposed to do here? How is that going to work? Are women, the people that Democrats care so much about, are they going to have to quit their jobs to homeschool their kids? How can Governor Ralph Northam countenance this? And how much are the teachers' unions driving this decision? Are these decisions at all influenced by politics? The answer to the last two questions is likely a lot. Keep the chaos going through the fall in the streets and in the homes. It'll be terrible for the larger economy, terrible for the unemployment numbers, and god-awful for students. Not a good situation for any incumbent president. Now, politics has already poisoned the school curricula across America. Propaganda from the radical and reckless 1619 Project already seeping into history classes. We talked about that last week. A sensible school choice initiatives, they're blocked by Democrats. They trap poor minority kids in underperforming schools. But politics should never affect whether schools open for regular classes. In the coming days and weeks, school districts across America will be announcing their decisions on schedules and classroom learning. Mothers and fathers should make their voices heard on this loud and clear. Our kids need to be back in school, period.
Hey, I'm going to end it here. Obviously, politics is being played, and these liberal nuts are not going to open the schools like normal. And I'd be pretty ticked off if I was a mother or father, and rightfully so. What they're going to do, I don't know. Needs more than their opinions of voice. They need a solution that goes outside of politics. It's coming. It's coming beyond homeschool. It's either going to private schools or it's going to some other educational system. Tutoring, maybe. The wealthy. For those that are not can't afford that, they're in trouble.